Hey everybody, it is November 2021, time for our monthly mortgage moment with Momi. Hi Momi, how are you?
Hi, Mike. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So I have a much more boring background than usual, and you have a much more exciting background.
Kind of fun
So
background.
yeah, where'd you get that from?
Oh, my sister makes them for me. And I was trying to figure out what's in it. It looks kind of like the Southwest, right? Kind of.
It looks like,
There's
I
like
don't know.
alligators.
Yeah, but I picture like somebody doing like magic or something like that in one of those like Dr. Seuss or something like that going on back there.
Oh, funny. It looked to me, it looks like an
Yeah,
old ghost town.
yeah. So, what's happening in the mortgage world?
Oh, the mortgage world is crazy. Well, I wouldn't say it's crazy. We've been talking about inflation for what, this whole entire year, right?
Most
And
most of the year, since earlier in the year for sure, we've been talking about it a lot, and now you're actually starting to see more and more about it on the news. So,
yeah,
yeah,
more and more about it on the news, supply chain demand problems. But what it's done for the mortgage world is rates have clicked up probably about every single day last week and even today. When I say clicked up, I don't mean like it went from, I'm just going to use numbers, 2.75 to 3.5. Maybe it only moved an eighth. Maybe it went from 2.875 to 3. But even an eighth higher in rate can affect somebody's purchasing power if they're right on the edge.
sure.
And you and I both know, Mike, that prices are still being people are still bidding above list, right? I mean, I've seen a couple
Yeah,
of offers where they bid above list and didn't get it. So if you're in that situation and the rates click up an eighth, it could mean the difference between you qualifying for that home or now not qualifying for that home. So rates are up,
yep.
refis, with the rates up, if you refinance and you do debt consolidation, you're probably still going to save yourself money. So the mortgage world is a little bit, one would think that we're slowing down through the holiday season, but it's still a little bit busy. People want to buy, people want to refi.
Yeah. Yeah, and somebody pointed this out to me the other day, and I didn't really think of it like this, but interest rates are literally a half of what the inflation rate is, what the published inflation rate is, which I seem to think is the actual real rate of inflation is probably even higher. But I think the published rate of inflation is it 6.2?
Something
Now
like that, yeah.
6.1, so it's over 6% now. And interest rates are about 3%, give or take. And it's different now than it will be an hour from now. I get that. But around 3.25. So literally, you're technically getting paid to borrow money.
Literally.
If you truly understand inflation and you understand the dollar and how that all works, you're actually getting paid to borrow the money.
Yep.
This has never happened before, where interest rates are lower than the inflation rate, and they're actually a half of what the real inflation rate is, or the
And you're
published
right.
rate.
You know what? That's a very interesting concept. Nobody's ever said it that way, but you're absolutely right. They are pretty much exactly half of what the published inflation rate. You're right. It is a little higher, but we can't state that because
Right.
that's what you and I know and think as far as the numbers are concerned. But the published rate it's like 6.2 or 6.4. And
Yeah.
rates today are, hovering around that 3.25, maybe 3.37 or something like that.
And historically, it would be the other way around. Typically, like mortgage rates, market rates are typically going to be like twice what the typical inflation rate is. It's totally reversed right now, which is
reversed right now.
Sure.
Well, and there was a point in time before inflation started kicking up where rates matched inflation.
Right.
Like in 2020.
Yeah.
So you're right. That's a very interesting concept. So those of you who haven't refinanced, jump on the bandwagon because you're basically getting paid to refi, right? And those of you that are on the fence for purchasing, definitely start looking at it, even though inventory is still relatively low, isn't it, Mike?
Inventory is still very low. And I say still very low, like it's even lower now than it was a month ago when we talked to each other. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and is that because of the holidays? Or
I mean, I think that's a factor here, but I think there is some seasonality as a factor where less and less people will list as we get deeper into the fall.
Mhm.
I think there's more to it than that, though. So, yeah.
Very interesting. Well, speaking on that note, we have some clients that, I
Yes.
mean, I think it's, oh, go ahead.
No, yes. Go ahead and tell the story.
Yeah, it's kind of a good segue because if you are out looking to purchase a home, you want to make sure that you're working with a team of professionals that are going to have your back and work for you, right? That's why you and I have been working together for many, many years. We just know how we work and we know how we're going to treat each other's clients, and we know that, what to expect. Our expectations are already set, right? When that person goes into escrow. And this particular client, unbeknownst to any of us, went and found another realtor, and
You met an agent at an open house.
found an agent at actually I don't
Yeah.
know, it might have been at an open house. Found an agent at an open house, and I didn't know, you didn't know, and the next thing I get is a phone call from that particular agent asking for a pre-approval letter, but I don't even know who this person is. Mention the borrower's name, and I'm thinking that's really odd, right? So come to find out, long story short, is the borrowers chose to start working with this particular agent. But there was no introductory phone call. This agent didn't call me to find out all they could about the pre-approval. My whole point with that story is you want to work with a team that knows your story, that knows your scenario, that knows, that's going to basically get you into the home that you're looking for. And everybody has to be on the same page. And that's one thing that you and I are really good at, Mike, is we are both on the same page, or anybody on your team, we're always on the same page when it comes to our buyers. Because at the end of the day, it's a large financial transaction, right? 200, 300, a million, 3 million. It's still a very large financial transaction for anybody in their lifetime. They'll probably never have one larger than that. And you want a professional working for you.
Yeah, for sure. And just to clarify, when you say working with the team, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to work with a real estate team, and it could be a solo agent, an individual agent. What you're talking about, just to clarify for everybody, is the agent and the lender and all of the professionals involved in the transaction are communicating and collaborating with each other. And you and I having a working relationship, and we work very well, and the agents that work with me on my team work well with you, and it's collaborative, and it's cooperative, and it really benefits the client at the end of the day. Everything goes so much smoother, and there's good communication. That's what we're talking about here.
You're right. I'm not speaking about a lending team or an agent team. I'm just talking about you, an agent, me, a lender, even title and escrow.
Yeah.
It's, as we work with, I work with more so than you do, probably, different escrow and title companies, right? Because I can't choose who somebody's going to have for title and escrow when it comes to a purchase, right? That's typically the listing agent, and you can't choose if you're representing the buyer. Right. You can sometimes, but some of them are not worth the penny that you could pinch. Some are really good and some are really bad. It's like any type of customer service job. Some are good, some are bad.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I meant by team. And I just think it's so imperative that you work with the right team to get you into the home that you are looking for.
Yeah, and where I see this come up a lot is when people they find an interest rate online, or like the online lender kind of thing, and they're just basing their lending experience and the loan on what their an interest rate and or fees that they're finding online. A lot of times they're not even understanding all of those fees and the rate and everything, but totally dismissing how important the professional is, how important the lender is, not the lending institution, that too, but also the loan officer who is the professional that makes the whole thing happen. So that's where I see that go awry often. I always caution people. I always caution people with that. So,
and that's a valid point. On my end, I see it like, as you mentioned at the beginning of my story, I see it go awry when somebody's out looking on their own, right? Maybe you couldn't join them, or one of your team members couldn't join them that weekend, and they run into a listing in a community that they're interested in maybe moving into, and the listing agent, right, grabs them without vetting them and saying, oh, are you working with an agent? I mean, actually, I don't even know the questions that you would ask, but I often see it there as well. And then when you go onto Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin, it's got all those, you can plug in the numbers and it has what your payment's going to be. But that isn't always the exact payment. Like, it doesn't know the property tax rate. We have a client right now that I'm working on numbers for them on 3 different purchase prices, right? I've pulled the property tax rate. I've, estimated the homeowner's insurance, the HOAs, and they're going to get, these numbers are going to be pretty rock solid so that they know if it fits in their budget. And again, that's the important reason for working with a professional. You want that information.
Yes. So, and I think some people get that. And I think other people, other buyers, especially some first-time buyers, none of this has ever entered their mind. They haven't really thought about this or, thought much about this. So yeah, I can't stress this enough. I mean, really, like, the professionals that you work with that can make or break your experience, really. It's hard enough out, especially on the buyer side, it's hard enough out there right now as it is with low inventory. It's such a competitive market that you really need quality professionals working with you and representing you.
And I'll add one more thought to that, the quality professional part. You are well known in your area. Your team is well known in the areas that they work in. So when you're working with, and even the lender, right, the loan officer, when you're working with an agent that is well known, or the listing agent may know and respect the selling agent, the person putting in the offer for the buyer, you have, I'm not going to say that this is always a guarantee, but if that listing agent has worked with you before, there's a good chance that offer will be accepted, reviewed, or taken a little more seriously.
Looked upon more favorably, for sure.
Looked upon more favorably, definitely. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. For sure. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So the moral here is really, work with, on the lender side, I think you want to work with somebody who's, you don't have to be local, like in your city or in the, like a 5 or 10 mile radius, but like somebody within the state, typically, it makes me nervous when somebody shows up with a lender that's from, Texas or back somewhere in the Midwest, because they don't know the little intricacies, the norms, the cultures, the different, real estate, it is different state by state. So
the laws.
Yeah.
The regulations are different. Same with lending.
So,
yeah.
So yes. And then, when your agent and lender are working together as a team, that helps a lot as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we got those buyers back on.
They're back on track now.
Right, back on track.
Story for everybody. They're back on track. So all good.
Yes.
All good there. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. What kind of Thanksgiving plans do you have?
I'm traveling to go see my dad,
Going up Northern California.
North. Yeah. Driving this time. Oh.
Okay.
Although I don't know what's worse. I saw the LAX lines this morning. It probably took 2 hours just to get to your gate.
Oh,
in the traffic.
Yeah. Out of LAX is bad. So
yeah.
Driving will be okay. Yep.
We'll see. Yeah, but I will be around. Obviously, I bring my computer, I bring my phone. So, still going to work.
Okay.
What
Well,
about you?
I'll be dunking a bird in hot peanut oil again. So
Are you
deep fry,
hosting?
frying a turkey. Yeah, we're hosting at our house. So
You know, we used to do the peanut oil. We bought the air fryer.
can you do a turkey in the air fryer? It's big enough to do the
We
turkey
bought
in?
a
Yeah.
big turkey air fryer.
Oh, wow.
So we
Okay.
don't have the peanut oil. We did the peanut oil for years.
Uh,
And then we would play a game at the very end. Everybody that would come over, we'd do a little lottery, and you'd have to guess what the oil would be, the heat of the oil after a
mhm.
certain amount of time. And then
Yeah.
we did like a little giveaway. But it, you know, eliminating or disposing of the peanut oil was not easy. It's kind of a challenge, right? It's a lot. It's a lot of peanut oil.
It is a
And
lot
so
of peanut oil. Yeah.
we just opted that we would buy the air fryer for the turkey. And so we've been doing that for many years now, and it's way better.
There you
It
go.
tastes really good too.
Yeah.
We'll have
Okay.
fun.
Well, too late for me to try that this year, but I'll
Yeah,
give it a thought for next year maybe. So,
sounds good.
okay. Well, have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And
Yep.
we'll see you back here Christmas time, holiday time
Yeah.
coming up
Yep.
before you know it. So,
Yep.
okay. Well, thanks, Momi.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.